Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. This video, which absolutely no one asked for, is a detailed look at my 7:30 a.m. morning routine, followed by some tips I'm going to share about how you can develop your own morning routine. The morning routine starts the night before, where I try to get into bed by around 11 p.m. I tape my mouth shut to force myself to breathe through my nose, which is apparently way healthier for you, and I read on my Kindle with the warm backlight until I fall asleep. The next morning, my day starts at 7:30 a.m. I tried a 5 a.m. morning routine once, decided never again, and so now I start the day at a more reasonable hour. I wake up thanks to my iPhone alarm clock, which crucially sits across the room from me, which means I generally have to get up to turn it off. Some mornings when I'm feeling really lazy, I do just ask Siri to shut up and go back to sleep, but thankfully this doesn't happen too much. These days I'm trying to get into meditation, and so after switching off the alarm clock, I sit on the bed and open Sam Harris's Waking Up app, where I'm currently on day 14 of the 30-day introductory program to try and learn non-duality meditation. I do find that on the days that I do it, I feel a bit more zen in the mornings, and it's generally a nice reminder for me to slow down and appreciate life in the moment. After the meditation is done, I grab my phone and take it into the toilet with me to do some scrolling while I'm doing my business. Most days I end up scrolling Twitter, but some days when I'm feeling super motivated, I instead read articles on the Reader app, or I continue reading something on the Kindle app. I'm currently reading The Second Mountain by David Brooks, which is about escaping the prison of the self. The metaphor is that the first mountain is what we climb when we're young and chasing success and happiness and personal freedom and independence. But when we get to the top and we've had success, or when we've had a bereavement or a health scare, we realize that there is a second mountain, which is where we find true joy. And that comes from committing ourselves to our family, community, faith, or cause. Anyway, after I've done my business, it's time for a shower. After years of searching, I have finally found the perfect 3-step productive shower routine. Step 1 is to prepare my toothbrush and toothpaste and stick it in the shower. Step 2 is to get into the shower, mindfully luxuriate in the hot water, and apply conditioner to my hair. I only shampoo my hair around once every 1 to 2 weeks because shampoo dehydrates hair. But I use conditioner every day, and because you need to keep it in for 2 minutes, it's the perfect chance to brush my teeth in the shower for 2 minutes, making sure not to wet my hair while the conditioner is in. Once I've brushed my teeth, it's time to swallow the toothpaste and wash off the conditioner. At this point, step 3 involves 2 more products. Firstly, the CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser, which is part of my evidence-based skincare routine, and a body wash to wash my body. Now the shower's done, so it's time to get out, towel dry my body, use a face towel on my face, and put on some clothes. These days I've been loving these chinos from Spoke London, and I whack on whatever t-shirt color I'm feeling on the day. Then it's time to dry my hair, and I'm using this Heist hairdryer to get my hair into a somewhat presentable shape. With that done, it's time for the second step of my skincare routine, which is to apply a sunscreen and moisturizer combination, in this case the Altruist SPF 50, which is the nicest one I found and very reasonably priced. Feeling great after moisturizing, I put down the cream and grab 2 tablets that I take each morning. The first is finasteride, which I've been taking since early 2019 for my hair loss. It's actually made a pretty big difference, and even though I'm definitely losing my hair, it's actually a lot better now than it was 3 years ago. The second thing I take is a supplement that I've been taking for 12 months so far. It's called Heights, and they are very kindly sponsoring this video. Heights is a brain care smart supplement. It's basically 2 capsules that I take each day, which contain 20 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to help take care of your brain and body. I take a supplement because, according to the research, 99% of us in the Western world don't actually get all the vitamins and minerals that we need from our diet, and I certainly don't, because my diet is nowhere near the gold standard Mediterranean diet. And I like Heights in particular because it's just 2 pills, so I don't need to deal with drinking any kind of green sludge, and because the team behind it is very evidence-based, with the formula developed in collaboration with neuroscientists and nutritionists. On their website, they've also got a ton of documentation about the formula they use and links to all of the scientific papers and evidence supporting it. Through being a Heights customer for the past 12 months, I've also become friends with the founder of the company, Dan Moricerta, who I had on my Deep Dive podcast last year, which you might like to check out. I also like the product so much that I became an investor in the company. So if you'd like to try out the smart supplement to take care of your brain and body, you can head to yourheights.com, and if you use the coupon code ULI15 at checkout, you'll get 15% off your first quarterly subscription. Anyway, after taking my 2 pills, I head out of the bedroom and into the kitchen. Now it's time to make the perfect cup of morning coffee with a method and equipment that I got from my friend and world coffee expert James Hoffman. I start by preparing the filter water and turning on the kettle. Then I grab some freshly roasted beans that I got from a local coffee shop and measure out 18 grams of beans, working with Hoffman's recommendation of 6 grams of coffee per 100 mils of water. I whack the 18 grams of coffee beans into the grinder and feel very smug to be one of these fancy coffee people. Once the beans are ground, I set up my filter paper with the Clever Dripper, which is the easiest and most efficient way to make a really great tasting cup of filter coffee. I put in the 300 mils of boiling water and add in the ground coffee. I give it a quick stir and stand around for 3 minutes while it brews. At this point, I sometimes grab my phone and read a couple of email newsletters, like Morning Brew and any other newsletters that my internet friends have put out in the last 24 hours. Or sometimes I just stand there and try and mindfully appreciate the present moment. Anyway, once the coffee is brewed for 3 minutes, I put the Clever Dripper on top of a mug, and that's where the mechanism causes the coffee to filter through. I give it a quick rinse, and then I've got my morning coffee ready. At this point, I take the mug over to the dining room table, where I grab my journal and do 2 things. The first is morning pages, a journaling method that basically involves writing out 3 pages of stream of consciousness thoughts by hand. This is great for, again, being more mindful about what's actually on my mind and exploring my thoughts and feelings. And the next thing I do via my bullet journal is to plan my day. I look through my calendar, write down any major events that are happening that day, and figure out what my daily highlight is, i.e. the one most important thing I want to do today to make progress on my major projects. These days, we're in editing mode for my book, so most of my daily highlights involve tweaking chapters. Honestly, this is one of the main productivity hacks that's most changed my life. Just this simple act of asking myself every morning, what is the most important thing I need to do today, and then trying my best to actually make that happen. At this point, I'll usually look through my calendar and make a rough plan of what I plan to do when. Usually the first 3 to 4 hours of each day are book writing time, and then there's usually stuff to do with the team or with friends later in the day. At this point, my morning routine is officially finished and it's time to start work. Sometimes I'll work from home, but usually I'll either walk over to the studio, which is a nice 30-minute walk along the canal, or if I want to do some deep work and not get distracted by the team in the office, I'll head over to a local coffee shop, whack on my noise-cancelling headphones, and try to do some deep work without getting distracted by the internet. Alrighty, so that was my morning routine. If you've watched this far, then firstly, thank you so much. I want to share a few tips that I have learned through trying to build my own morning routine over the last several years, and I finally got it to a point where I feel like it's so nice having this morning routine. Firstly, you can absolutely keep it simple. Back when I was working full-time, back when I was a student, and I was sort of dabbling with the idea of morning routine, a mistake that I made was trying to make it too elaborate too quickly. And what I realized over time is that really just starting out super simple, just get up, have a shower, go to work. That's a totally simple morning routine. Get up, have a shower, make a coffee, go to work. Put it in a little travel club. Get up, have a shower, go to coffee, maybe do a little bit of meditation, maybe do a little bit of journaling. You can layer these things on one by one at a time, but it's generally a mistake to try and construct an elaborate one from scratch. It's like building any habit. If you're gonna stack habits together, you wanna do it slowly, you wanna do it one at a time. Secondly, one of the big level ups that I've had in my life is it's the thing that everyone says, the thing of not checking notifications first thing in the morning. Having my phone across from me so that I'm not tempted to just go and check notifications immediately. I almost never check Slack or check my emails or check any kind of messages because I know that if I check those things first thing in the morning when I'm on the toilet, for example, it means my brain is just going to get bombarded with other people's requests of me. And then I have this constant low-level anxiety throughout the day of, I have these 4 friends who've messaged me on WhatsApp who I haven't replied to, or these team members who've messaged on Slack, or these 3 emails that I need to get back to. And it's not a nice start to the day. Whereas a nicer start to the day is, for example, the meditation that I've been dabbling with recently, or just reading something. Even on Twitter, probably shouldn't be scrolling Twitter, but to be honest, I find that Twitter, generally the sorts of people I follow, it gives me something interesting to read, something interesting to think about, but it's not someone wanting something from me, which is why not checking notifications has made such a big impact on my own sanity. And final tip I wanted to say is that if there's one key productivity tip, one key thing, if I could only have one thing in my morning routine, it would be this idea of the daily highlight. This thing of just asking yourself every single morning, what is the most important thing that I want to do today? And I find that on days when I actually set my daily highlight, I don't do it all the time, I'm not 100% perfect with my routine, I don't think anyone really is, but on days that I do it, I feel like the whole day comes together a little bit nicer, in a nicer way, and I feel like I'm actually spending my time more intentionally. Whereas on the days where I feel like I'm rushing out the door to go to a meeting or to have breakfast with someone or to do something else, and I forget to figure out what is actually the most important thing I need to get done today, then I find that I get to the end of the day and I sort of feel like I did all this stuff, but I don't think any of it was particularly important. And to be honest, it's just this one hack. Like if you actually could spend the next 365 days where every single morning you just did the most important thing for the day, that's just completely game changing. And it's such a simple thing, but if, for example, you could spend every day of the next 365 days, for example, where you actually did the thing that was most important to you, or even 80% of those days, or even 50% of those days, that at least for me is just way more productive than I would be otherwise. All right, so that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this, you might like to check out this video over here, which is about my 90-day experiment with journaling every single day, and the tips and stuff that I'll share in that video about how I started doing journaling and the different methods of journaling that I use. So you might be interested in incorporating that into your own morning routine. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.